All right, how's that? That's weird. I had to unplug it and plug it back in, not once, but twice. I think we're back now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for pointing it out. Always helps. That's one of those things that I always have a little bit of trouble with. Yeah, so when I was muted by the device, it's kind of funny. Like this device, when it's plugged in, it has a button that tells you if you're on and you can mute it and stuff to make sure it's working. But sometimes it'll do all that and still not work. It's like very tricky. Anyway, so today I visited the Tulane Classic to support students and friends, and it was a good time. And if anybody tunes in from that event, I'd be happy to take a look at any games that you've converted to a PGN. Just shoot me a message on Discord and with the game details, and we can roll with that. Here's my Discord link. Okay, anyway, so I'll be paying attention to that. So what do we have here? We could probably push this and then go ahead. That seems kind of right. Okay, we'll take that. That's the right thing. This is the classic, blocking with the rook with tempo, so we can promote first. Yeah, it was a fun tournament. I didn't play this time. I will probably play in the future, but very good to see people, especially like friends and people who are starting to play chess, who are students. Getting into events where they can play against masters and also people of their own strength. Lots of opportunities to learn. Very, very nice to see. Okay, so this position looks a lot like it'll be a queen trap, like maybe we take here and then trap the queen. Is there any downside for this? I don't see any downside. Let's just go ahead. And then of course they're giving up the queen. We need to get our rook in here, is my feeling. But let's not rush. If we check, they'll go here, so it's better, go here. So it's better to just probably take the knight. Is there any downside to that? I think this is pretty good. We are solidly up a piece. We could pick up the rook on d8. Seems good. And with the queen against rook and bishop, we should be able to manage. Here, if we play e4, they'll probably sack and get some compensation. So I would propose, excuse me, to take this and then push. You can see I'm not very good with the clicking today. Just diagonals everywhere. We can get some material like this with the idea of deflecting the queen. This is a pin. We should be able to get that piece. And does it matter which one we take with? It does. If we take with this, they'll play d3, so we have to take with the rook. Let's see. Lots of things are hanging here. For example, I could take this and then take this, because if they take, then they lose on g7. That seems right to me. 33, pretty good progress in our warm-up here. Back rank stuff. Always check for back rank stuff. This should win a rook, I think. We take, and if they take it, then we just take on e5. I mean, if they take with the pawn or the knight, we take on e5. If they take with the rook, we take on e8, and that wins material as well. And if they play rook takes e2, we take the queen. Excuse me. Actually, if they take on e2, we might just be taking on f6, because if we take the queen, then they take on e1. They get a lot of compensation. So I think this is the way. All right, that's kind of a weird continuation. I thought it was way trickier to give a chance to give the queen. Excuse me. We could take this, because if they take with this knight, then this is checkmate. If we take with this and they go here, then there's a different checkmate, 90, 97. So we love checkmates. Looks good. Hello Zoe, welcome on YouTube. Good to see you, as always. This is a double attack in a couple of moves. So let's see what happens if we just simply take on e6. What's the matter with that? What could go wrong with that simple capture? They take with the queen or something, or what's the... Oh, it's pinned. It's pinned. My bad. Simply pinned. So we're going to do our own pin. Oh, really? That's quite tricky. So what's the matter with this? Oh, it said they'll play queen e5. All right. Warm-up's over. Let's do another warm-up. Throw a little check, checkmate. Go a little bit faster this time, as we usually do. Oh, misclick. Sorry, guys. I've been trying to go a little bit faster since one of my issues is just being a little bit slow on the draw in positions where I should be like pretty confident, but I'm also a little bit sloppy clicking around. So that's something to work on. Go get the kingside pawns. That looks like game over. Was win the queen. Oh, it's white to play. Sorry, white to play. Oh, these black pawns are coming this way. Gotcha. So there's mate in one. Only tricky because it looks like the position could be reversed. That's all. I think there's two solutions. There you go, queen here. Oh no, because they'll go here and there's no check. So we have to start here. That's the only move that forces them back. Knight d3 is very dangerous for them. Ooh, that's super cold. White to play, huh? I think I'm just gonna make it in time. Excuse me. Still a little bit under the weather, but I'll be done with this cough soon. You'll see. You'll all see. Yeah, I just want to get my queen there, so I don't really care about that rook. Okay, feeling like warm-up spirit. The obvious kind of thing is like this. Oh, and then we have knight c8. That is good. Still a little slow on the draw with these basic motifs. Okay, so if I just take on d5, that's like kind of simple. Makes me wonder if there's a more serious opportunity. Maybe trapping this queen. Excuse me. Yeah, that's it. Now, I could check in various ways. By various, I mean just two ways on the same square. Technically, there's another way. But let's see, check, they go here. Check, they go here, check. Alright, so the queen's gonna do all the work. as usual. How regal. Okay, so there's that. Win a piece. We left winning a piece. Do we want to live the rest of our lives down a piece? I think we will go here and going for the different checkmating ideas instead of living down a piece. The bishop's hanging. Sack my queen for the rook and then take their queen. Okay, so if I do this, they go here. We could check like this. That seems pretty convincing. I could take on e3, and if they trade the queens, then they just lose the bishop. So they kind of have to take here, which is attacking my queen, but I'm not sure I really care because bishop g5 is possible. If they play rook takes d8, I take their queen with check, and they can block with the rook, but then I'm going to take the rook as well. So that should win an exchange, and I feel okay about that. Looks good. Maybe a sacrifice so I can attack this. Actually, not so I can attack this. It's because the rook is guarding this square. So that's the reason why. Alright, so takes, check. They go here, I go here, and now I'm winning because the pawns are going to touch the end of the board like this. Very important to start with that pawn though. Alright, maybe I come in here like this. Or maybe just push this threatening to promote. They can't approach with the king, that helps. And when they move the rook to stop it, I can just protect with the other pawn. And now I can run around with my king as much as I want. That seems right. Very good. I'm not getting checkmated, so I can probably go for mate myself. And thank you, I'm still threatening mate. Well, I don't see any move except queen takes b8, so we're gonna start there. Then probably rook c1. It's very hard to guard this. They have to play probably c5 or c6. Maybe c6, just for sake of argument. Excuse me. No, c6 is not that effective because of queen b7. So let's say they played c5 instead. Queen b7 still. Maybe king d8, just for sake of argument. Kind of looking for something a little more convincing here. I also don't mind taking on c5. That seems playable. Yeah, it seems okay. And of course they're sacking to protect it because the threat was real. What's everybody up to tonight? What's going on in the chat? I think the way to go here is knight e4, followed by queen takes e6. We're down a minor piece, we're winning a rook. Seems okay. They also have this problem. If knight g4, king g1, I don't really know what the follow-up is, so that's why it's this one. Let's get in the middle of this, right? Because they can take and take, and then go here, and then I would play e4, preventing them from covering the promotion square. e4, and then there's no bishop. Trap the rook, question mark. Yep, that works. I could take that rook. I could also go for mate. But going for mate probably doesn't work. Rook c2 guards the mate square. So I could always take this, and if they push, then I come back, and they have a real problem. So that seems about right. Is there something more forcing here? Because taking the rook still leaves me like not material, just like having an active position. Like for example, if I take this and then they just play queen d2, what would happen? Nerd Tugget, welcome to the chat with your unusual username. My PhD is in oceanography. So I'm a physicist, I study the ocean. What's going on with you, Nerd Tugget? What's the story? What are you up to this fine evening? Oh, you know what I missed? Queen f2, rook c2 doesn't guard it. There's bishop g2. So I think that makes this the answer. And don't forget, you have to take that. I probably should take that too, because if they take it, I can checkmate them. That's all important information to consider ahead of time. This looks like a simple checkmate situation. So let's knock that out of the way. What do we have here? Lots of tempting things. I think the most tempting thing is just to cash in for the piece. So we start with this one so that only the queen can take. If I start with knight c6, the pawn would be able to take, and now the bishop's hanging. It's clean trade down. As opposed to a dirty trade down, which not everyone enjoys. Maybe this hitting the weak spot, and if they push the pawn, then you know what happens next is history. Probably like knight h3. It would look like this. Maybe king h1, or no, king g2. Because if king h1, then knight takes f2 looks pretty good. So king g2. And maybe rook takes f2 check, and they lose the queen. I think that's probably the right way. And if queen g3, there was knight e2, so that's why this is the main course. If they took the knight, they would get checkmated, so they have to sack. Okay, that's not check, so I can do what I want. I want this, and then take the knight, I suppose. Important to take with this knight. I don't see anything better than that. Looks good. Still trying to go a little bit fast here. But you know, no mistakes is preferable. Let's say I check, they take, go here. They go here. What happens next? Seems a little speculative. Their king is not in a great way, but not obviously lost. Well, this is all I have to work with, just these three basically. Everything else is kind of not doing much. I mean, maybe this pawn. By the way, if anyone would like to send me a challenge, feel free. You can get me at this URL, which I will drop in the chat, and you don't even need an account on lichess. You can always challenge me anonymously. At least that's my understanding. If you try it and it doesn't work, let me know. What am I missing here? There's got to be something warm-up-y, some kind of simple thing going on. All right, Santosh is coming with a challenge, so let's jump on it. Santosh has games for days. Santosh is always ready to roll, and we love that. Okay, let me just get the board and clock ready. And while I'm doing that, would anybody like to suggest a first move? It looks like I'm playing white. I will happily play like basically any first move that you can think of. If anyone in the chat wants to see some weird first move or like something that they've been practicing or something different, you know, just drop that comment and I will play that move. Almost for sure. D5. Well, I could play D5 next game if I'm playing black. Get Trek Nate, welcome to the chat with that suggestion, D5. I could play D4 right now. That's pretty close. And maybe I'll play D5 if I'm allowed to. I'm going to go for D4 in honor of Get Wrecked Nate. Get Wrecked Nate's decision. Okay, now I'm going to play D5 to honor the request. I hope you'll forgive me. It was not on move 1. Okay. Santosh has some familiarity, I think, with this King's Indian stuff, so he'll probably be happy that I play D5. Give him something to chew on in a good way. On the other hand, maybe Santosh is accustomed to playing D6 and E5 or D6 and C5, and those options are not with us anymore. It's become a different kind of game. So, I think this is my fate. Bishop E2. Castle. And thank you for the suggestion. Always happy to take a suggestion. And let's try a little, this might be a bit of a mixed metaphor, but I'm cool with it. You know, we love a mixed metaphor. As I'm saying that, I'm like, what kind of mixed metaphors do I like? That's how I get distracted. I'll just start thinking about all these different things. What kind of mixed metaphors do I enjoy? Okay, let's try this. One of the downsides of playing D4 and then immediately following D5 is that this knight kind of gets a comfortable outpost square. This is one of the main ideas in the King's Indian type openings where black fianchettos and castles and then develops the pieces. It's very convenient that this comes with tempo, so I probably should just keep it safe as advertised. And I like black's position already. It's pretty good, but white has more space. That's probably one of the upshots of playing D5 so quickly. Rook E8. Santosh also chose Rook E8, I think, in a previous game, in a different position. I usually like to keep the rook on F8 when I play this kind of structure, because at some point you need some pawn breaks, and it can get kind of testing when you don't have them available. Now I have some kind of like luxuriant options here, things I can't normally do. Like B4 is frequently not available, but I could do that right now with tempo. I think I'm probably cool with that. That looks kind of good. Could be good. Let's give it a whirl. You know, we're always trying to do some fun stuff in these, you know, tell me what to play games. Play some bold chess. Be amused. Knight d7, practical move. I kind of wondered about knight takes e4 a little bit. I'll take this chance to get my knight out there. Previously, we might have seen bishop takes h3, which would help black to simplify a bit. That can be useful when you have less space, so avoiding that is probably slightly to my favor. So, gonna at least give it a try, and we can see how well that logic pans out. It seems like a lot of people play d4 these days, you know, like when I ask, hey, what move should I play? A lot of people say d4. Very few people are like, e4, my favorite move ever. And I noticed that in recent years, the statistics in terms of like how frequently people play what has shifted more towards d4 compared to e4. I think that's really interesting. Now the queen's there, I'll kind of choose a home for this rook. I think it wasn't clear for a second if this rook belonged like here, here, or here, but it definitely didn't belong here, so I'm happy to play rook c1. Alright, now I'll bring this knight back to avoid bishop takes h3. Interesting decision. I think this is pretty dangerous for black. Like, no, this rook is kind of peeking out there. And if anyone else wants to send me a challenge, feel free to queue it up. Anything with like a little bit of increment, just so I can keep up with you guys chatting and things like that. Alright, looks like challenge mode for black. Because I think white will often work very, very hard to open this file. And it's kind of happening for free right here. And I like that. It's nice for me. So I noticed that a lot of the people at the tournament today, especially if they were kind of new to the tournament scene, they feel like a lot of like performance anxiety or like social anxiety around playing. And a lot of them also noticed that the long time controls are really different from when they're playing online blitz. So for anyone in the chat who has played tournaments before, did you have a similar experience, and how did you experience that? Hello, Loted, welcome. Good to see you in the chat. Is that a platypus in your picture? Is that like your spirit animal, this platypus? Okay. Alright, Santosh is considering what to do. Threat is, and he's probably identified this. Threat is this fork winning the rooks, and it can be pretty tricky to get past that. There are probably some downsides to each way of defending against knight c7 because there is no way to fully prevent knight c7. I can't wait to have this like little cough go away, but I usually have lingering coughs for a long time. There's things to look forward to in life, like not coughing. If I had to make a recommendation, I would probably say like rook d8. Squash who's lurking. I see you in the chat there. One issue that you might have if you choose, for example, this one, is like I could bring the bishop back and maybe take the pawn. The real trouble here, though, is that black can't finish development. There's nowhere to really put this bishop that makes a lot of sense. Ideally, they would have traded it off like for this knight or something, but that opportunity never really appeared. And that's part of why several moves ago I put the bishop on e2 before developing my knight back here. If I play a move like knight f3, then he can play bishop g4. But since I started this way, there was never a chance to trade that off. Generally, when you have less space, like when all of your pieces are like behind this line pretty much, then it's better if you can trade like one or two pairs of minor pieces. Alright, so he's considered to just give the exchange completely, which is not unreasonable. It's an interesting choice. For sure. There he is giving it. Oh, you know what? I had a much better move than what I played. It's okay. I'm gonna redeem myself. Wait, oh yeah, this was check. Okay, my bad. Yeah, so this is correct. This is all the right thing to do. Okay, and now this knight, which is trapped, I can just trade off, and that's nice. So I can choose this one or this one. I think it's better to just trade, you know, just keep it very simple. And I might throw this check in for good measure. It's not strictly necessary, but it feels good. Maybe just castle, also for good measure. Also probably not strictly necessary. Okay, that's not the move I would have chosen, but it's probably okay. I'm not terribly worried about any of these pieces, so I think I should probably just prioritize getting my own stuff out. So let's start like this. Even though there's not like a major like threat right now, it makes it harder for black to move the pieces around because there's all kinds of like back rank issues, and these guys could be hanging. Good multi-purpose move. And importantly, I would also like to bring my rook somewhere over here. So getting the queen out of the way is helpful for that. I think black probably needs to be fairly defensive here. This might be just kind of making things a little bit worse for them. I could take this, for example. That might be pretty simple. What else could I do? I could take this, then you should probably take like that. No, this is probably clearly the best. I think this is a very good move, actually. I realize the value. Sometimes it's good to just take a look and see, like, not think too, not too complicated. Alright, good game. So the issue here is that Queen F8 is coming. This can be defended technically. Like you can play Knight G7 just to stay in the game. And I don't have any special sauce on the back rank, but I do have this free knight, and that's pretty depressing. So understandable to resign here. Good game. So when white plays this extra like wasteful move, I think it's good to undermine it immediately. Excuse me. For instance, you might consider a move like c6 right away, because if I trade it, then you just get good development. You could even like build your center. Like all these things are good. But if I support it, you can kind of easily knock it down before it becomes too much of a problem. For instance, since I spent this move to play d5 without playing knight c3, I don't have the move e4 to support. So if I just go ahead, you should be able to build this pressure like that. Maybe even queen a5 is okay here. If bishop d2, I'll just take this. That's not a problem. The discover attacks with a knight are pretty useless. So just gotta break it down right away. Otherwise, it becomes just like a normal King's Indian type position. Hello, Savvy Chess City on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. Yeah, so when you played bishop g7, it feels very natural because you just are filling the fianchetto, of course. That's what this formation is called, fianchetto. But then, you know, I can build up my defense properly again. That extra move where I didn't have the knight out on c3 doesn't really impact me anyway. But that's a subtle detail, you know, and some people, like, they're just happy to play the structure. They're not really worried about punishing an early mistake. So, like, anyway, you got a good position. Nothing wrong with this. But when you play this structure with the knight on c5, it's very good to follow it with a5. And white will usually undergo some pains in order to arrange a3 and b4 to try to dislodge that knight. And you can frequently prevent that plan by playing a4, so that when b4 happens, you can take en passant. And that makes this knight very strong on c5. Santos says you can't trade your dark bishop. Yeah, generally you're unlikely to do it, but there's an exception for everything in chess, you know? In this position, for example, if white is forcing it, if white's forcing the exchange here, then you can just let it happen. It's not such a big deal. Like, let's say you played a5 and I went here, and then you just ignore. You play something like, just bishop d7. Maybe you could play this. If you trade like that, it's not really that big of a deal, because white had to spend so much effort to even get that to happen. Oh yeah, trade for a knight? Yeah, that's hard. You don't generally want to trade your bishop for a knight. There are exceptions to this too, though. Like, for example, let's say that in this position I'd play knight c3. You can actually trade for this knight. This is a totally fine position for black. Here, I probably wouldn't continue taking. I just let them sit with these weaknesses and just finish development. This is totally fine to play. The doubled c pawns can be like very annoying for white to finish their development in any kind of threatening way. Can really stop their ideas cold. And you'll probably remember in a couple of streams in the past, when my opponents were playing like English or something, I might do something like this, where like as soon as I have the chance, I just take it off, and a lot of people feel very uncomfortable with the structure, even if it's playable. Yeah, so I think you miss some early chances, and when you put this knight on c5, very important to play a5. The reason is you spent so much effort to put this knight on c5. You really want to cement it there and make it strong long term. Like me being able to kick the knight like this with b4, it's pretty difficult for you to handle. One of white's main ideas in the structure, even if black has not played the typical moves like e5 and c5, is to eventually break through on the queen side, and so the b4 move is useful. The breakthrough will probably come with c5 or b5. So I'm getting some extra moves for free, you know? Even if you went back like this, I would simply support it. I'm not going to give you the outpost square again. I'll slowly develop my pieces and prepare a c5 break, that kind of thing. So once you lost your opportunities to develop your pieces in like normal ways, that's when the position started to fall apart. Like this is already gone. This is very good for white. And it was right for you to try to like sack an exchange or something, but not enough. And queen b4 is probably a mistake. You should probably just take that knight. Just get something, you know? There was one more thing. What was it that was important here? There was something. I can't remember. Yeah, but it was a good game. Good game indeed. Let's switch back to that puzzle streak. If I get another challenge, I'll take a look at it. All right, so I was still wondering, what am I missing in this position? So if I check, take, check here. Oh no, if I maybe I'm just missing some basic thing. Like over here, they come back, and then what happens? Okay, I don't think I'm really missing anything there. Queen f8, king g5 only move. I was thinking about like moving this bishop somewhere and then trying to play f4, but it's like kind of a stretch. Santos said that positional understanding is very, very poor, but you know, positional understanding, it grows as you play things. A lot of the time, it's like there's some general principles, right? Like the other day, I mentioned the Simple Chess book by Steam, and you know, outpost squares is one of the big things that they talk about in that book, and that's a general purpose concept, right? Like if you can reliably put a piece somewhere without it ever being chased away, that's like a pretty useful concept. But you can also learn the particular concepts specific to the opening that you play. So the more that you play your openings of choice, the more you'll get to know those basic ideas. This might be like we attack the rook, for example. If they take this, which is basically like the only move. Do we have anything special? I'm not so sure that we do. What am I missing here? I know for sure I'm missing something. And I don't want to just guess. I think a move like queen g5 is like too slow. They could just play h6 and take over some initiative, or maybe even just ignore it. There's some kind of tactics time going on here. I also considered e5. They can give the exchange back. Yeah, they could always give the exchange back also in some of these lines. That's a good point. They are up in exchange. I think it's checkmate that we're going for. I just don't see it after king g5. Somehow it's eluding me. I think maybe... maybe it's just this simple. We do this, and then we take on f7. I think that's probably the correct way, but that feels very weird for this kind of puzzle. Really kind of bizarre sequence for like a 1900 rated puzzle. You could take this. I could throw this check. I think this threatening mate is the way, and that was the answer. Super weird sequence though. Like a lot of these puzzles are pretty cut and dry. That one was not so cut and dry to me. Kind of like eliminating all other reasonable options. Clearly their king's under attack. Make them play with like f3. I don't think that makes a huge difference. This bishop's hanging. Could be some kind of tactical mayhem. It could also just be like, I'm going to play b6 and bishop b7 and your position's worse. It's also possible. Queen g4, threatening mate. Yeah, that's a reasonable option. After queen g4, you're threatening both queen g2 and queen f3. So I think that's probably the answer. Good eye. Any downsides? Probably not. Like, I don't see any way they can even guard those things. So we're rolling on. Queen d4 is possible here. They would probably play c5. I think queen c7 is a better version of the same. Now, do they have any cool checks? Probably not. Let's say I play queen c7 and they throw queen d3. The only real check here. They don't have follow-up checks, so are we winning after like rook f3? It's very possible. I mean, they could take this knight. That's not good. I like to do something more forcing. I don't think it needs to be like queen c7 and let them do what they want. Queen d3 is kind of not the best thing in the world. It could also be, we do the fast lane, we do rook b7. I should consider this move first. That's the most forcing. I always tell people you need to look at the forcing moves first. So you should pretty much only consider this move. And I would even throw this in to just like guarantee that everything goes according to plan. No delays, no repeats or hesitation. They're threatening mate in a pretty major way here. What could it be? If bishop g2, king g1, there's rook h1. That seems pretty good because after king f2, there is queen f3. After bishop g2, if they put any of these king moves down, I might just play like just any bishop move, like bishop f1. Just going for mate. And since there's not really any other source of counterplay, that seems like the only thing to do. We could take this, potentially. These endgames, like these rook and pawn endgames, are like infamously drawish, so it's better to take with the rook and force the rooks off the board. Now here, I think g3 is necessary. Just gonna have to keep these pawns on for a little bit. Like g3, they go here, they take, I take, and I'm winning. So that's the plan. Could take here, and then they're trading. Also, like if I just take the whole rook and then they go here, I just drop it back, and there's no anything for them. So I think that's a way better version. .97 looks, excuse me, long way away from winning a little bit. So we throw the check. They have options. Let's consider this like the most obvious move. They just go in the corner. I don't know if that solved anything. Maybe. Oh, the queen's trapped. That's better. Because of this. Took a long time to see, but at least I got it. Now, queen f8, king d7, rook f7. End of the game, right? End of game. World's hardest meeting, too. Just kidding. Alright, so that's a check. I almost literally can't play anything else, so. Alright, I've only got two options here. I can take this, and I can move. And I probably should move my king, because if I take it, they can take this with check. And then whatever I might play, they can take my queen. So, here we go. Now, the obligatory checking sequence begins. I could take it, but then again, they can play queen takes e6 check. And after I take, they can take my queen. I'd be up in exchange. I'd probably be okay with that. And if king g7 or something, doesn't look like a great version. I think we're rolling with this. Just gonna be an exchange up. Now I could take that with check. That seems pretty good. Queen's hanging over here, so I'd probably lose it. So maybe knight e4, preventing the check. If they try like king e2, there's queen f2, king d3, knight takes c5, winning the queen. That's pretty good. So you can only go here, and then we can take this with check and take their queen. Yeah, they're losing the game here. And scoop. I'm sure all of the local people who played the tournament are like fully tuckered out by now. I know I saw people like sleeping after the last round, like they were just so tired. Playing a tournament can take a lot out of you. I think people don't necessarily realize. My pattern is mostly that like I'm kind of on during the tournament, and then like the moment it's over, I just like kind of go down. Just be like super tired after that. All right, so this seems clearly useful. I do wonder about this, but if I start with this, then I don't have any special opportunities anymore. So that pretty much tells me I have to start like this. It helps with this bishop's hanging. It gives me more options to win the game. But I also like bishop e1, which looks a lot like checkmate everywhere you go. So if I just play knight g5 here, they can trade rooks, and then nothing special happens. But if I trade rooks first, and then play knight g5, I might be winning an exchange. That seems correct, so let's start there. And give me that, thank you. So if I take this and they take my knight, and I throw this check and they take here. And I play like rook a2, and they play king b1. And then I play queen a5. Am I just winning? Is this what winning looks like? Threat is rook a1. 52, yes, we're on our way. I've gotten some pretty high scores in the past when I was like more in form and just taking this totally for granted. I think I should try to get a good score again, especially since I've already gotten to 51. Let's say if I take on b2. You know, I'm just kind of considering, you know, what happens. If they just take the pawn on b2, I can just keep rolling and do other fun things. Like if they take on b2, maybe I'd play queen a5 immediately. So it's a pretty serious option. I'm wondering if there's some kind of simple solution, because right now, like, materials even in everything. I could play knight e4, and maybe there's some tactics there. Excuse me. I think taking on b2 makes the most sense. If I play a2, let's play king a1. I don't think that's really going anywhere. Let's try opening their king up a little bit. Oh man, it was queen a5 right away, not rook a1. So sad. That's understandable to me. Like queen a5 is just clearly like a winning move. You know, we're threatening these things. It's very nice. Clearly a good move. But you know, I'm not worried. I'm not too worried about the streak. There's always another streak, right? They never run out. Let's try to get back to where we were, but like faster. Let's just try that. Am I supposed to be impressed by that? Like, what's going on here? All right, we're fast on our way back to where we were. Okay, what's up with this one? Oh, it's just like I'm gonna take you and then you, and we're all happy with that. Bishop f7, king h8. What's the deal with this? Maybe just rook d8 winning the game. Rook d8 looks pretty winning. Yep, of course. What else? Knight b5 looks good. Bishop takes, and then... Oh, no. I thought I had queen g6. Even that's probably not very good. Okay, think. Trying to be a little bit quick here. Knight b5 also, there's just queen b2. Like, none of that was required. Not clear thinking. I think e5, if they take, then queen g6. That changes it. And bishop to g7, h6. Oh, that's even better. Just win the queen. Very simple. Alright, so that was a wait. Yeah, check and take queen. John's got it. That's right. That's the wrong thing. Okay. Let's keep going. Try to work a little bit on being faster. I know, that was a horrible blunder. But, you know, I don't think I'm going to get any faster if I don't push a little bit past my, like, normal, like, very cautious way of calculating. I don't want to be too, like, inflexible. Austin Wakana, welcome. You hate money? Well, you're probably not alone. Austin is ready to start the Money Haters Club, it looks like. Pee Wee Herman Money Haters Club. Oh man, I was just not focusing. That was wrong. That was a double attack, of course. What else can we do here? Okay, fast. Trying to get back to where we were. No mistakes. Comfort check, very important. John likes the song Money. Pink Floyd, that's the one. Have you ever seen, John, have you ever seen the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon where they sync it up with The Wizard of Oz? Somebody did a really good edit a few years ago. I don't know if it's still on YouTube. But they they adjusted all the downtime. They like tuned the tempo just a little bit to like better align the scenes where it like looks like the characters are singing the song. It's a real trip. Yeah, Santosh Meetin one task. I find that when I'm like a little bit under the weather, I perform like a little bit worse. But realistically, sometimes we have to play under those circumstances, and it's good to know like how we can manage our risk in those situations. You know, like how bad do I really play when I'm a little bit sick? It's good to know. That way you can do more effective damage control. Okay, so if I take this, they take with check, they take me back, of course, but their bishop's hanging, so they'd probably not take back, they'd take on b7, I take their bishop, they take my rook, I take their rook. I think that's better for me. That looks right. Take that, and take this. Oh, what was I saying? I was like, I'm gonna take the rook, and then I just go and take the bishop. John said it was just a coincidence. Oh, it's definitely a coincidence. It's a pretty fun coincidence, though. Dark Side of the Rainbow. Yeah, I've heard that before. Okay, I've like messed up a couple of these like quickly get back to where I was things and I think I want to lock in a little bit just to take care of it. So I'm clearly not in super fast form. Yeah, I have to take this, otherwise the knight will go away. Let's get some pieces there. What's up, Nino? Good to see you. How you feeling now the tournament's over? At Tulane. I'm just being super sloppy here after a long day, so I'm going to try to lock in and get back to the place where I was. But if anyone wants a challenge, feel free to send me a game with just a little bit of increment. I don't really care. It could be like all increment for all I care. Just enough that I can like still look at the chat and chat with you guys while playing chess on my VPN. Just a little increment, and I'm cool to play against you all. Okay, so F3, if they take with the pawn, are they losing? Because that might just be it. I think that's what it is. Okay, so let's say F3, and then they take this. We threaten mate. Hard to meet that checkmate threat. They can take here with check, but I just take. If they play G3, I play bishop H3. That seems like lights out. So they have to kind of give some material. Okay, maybe... Oh, shoot, go back. Back. Oh, no. I lost my puzzle streak position. It was the other way. It was better to take first. I kind of wanted to check it out, but it's gone. Very sloppy day. Austin says too good. Well, it's not about too good. It's okay. It's just like, if you think it would be fun, feel free to send me a challenge. If not, that's cool too. I don't think anybody's too good. That's okay. Sandra said someone take him down. Yeah, come get me. I'm gonna have to be like one of those other YouTube people who does the thumbnails where it's like very clickbaity, where they're just being swarmed by people. That's gonna be me when we play one of the like bigger simuls on a Sunday. Nino says he feels pretty good about most of his games, but he completely lost focus in round 5. Why do you think that is? Let's get that queen. The usual suspect in late rounds is just fatigue. And you can work on stamina. Chess playing stamina is a thing. A lot of people who like get serious and take like a fitness approach, I kind of did like at one point when I was playing chess like a lot, and it kind of mattered. A lot of people will take kind of like the marathon runner type training, where there's like, I just want my resting heart rate to be really good, and you know, just stay high energy for long periods of time. They'll shift their diet. If your diet during a tournament is not very good, especially as an adult, you can really like suffer a bit. As a kid, you mostly can just like eat garbage and be totally good. That's one of the biggest differences, I think, for like adults versus children. It's not so much like neuroplasticity or like being able to learn better or whatever. It's mostly just like the regular like things that impact you in your day-to-day life are more severe sometimes for adults with a slower metabolism. Alright, am I really going to sack my queen for these two pieces? Where am I at in my life? I'll be up in exchange. Seems good. Too legit to quit. Oh yeah, I actually can't play king f8 because of rook f7, so I kind of got to do it. And Nino, if you want to look at a game, feel free to send it to me on Discord, and I can pull it up. I've got the technology. If you would like to look at the game. Okay, we're gonna get that queen. That's nice. This is the same puzzle I got. I like quickly moved into the wrong thing last time. I used to think it was kind of like just like weird and like maybe a little bit narcy to want to like completely master the like streak or puzzle rush type stuff. But I might have a different attitude about it now. That's more like, if that's something that you can get done just like incidentally, why not? You know, why not do a lot of puzzle rush or whatever and just like completely master it and then move on to something else. Nothing wrong with that. Nino says he thinks he needs to get more practice playing classical chess. Plans to start attending the Tuesday games more often. Yeah, that sounds like a good move. I've heard that the Tuesdays near you They play long time controls. I'm also going to be hosting tournaments coming up that are like game 25 plus 10 or something. So they're going to feel a lot more like a classic time control too, even though they're still like basically on the cusp of regular rating. Alright, let's say I go here. They will not catch me. And if they push here, I'll go get it. They'll check me. I'll take this. I'm still in range. So that's the way to go. Also, when I start running these tournaments on Saturdays, I'll start on Saturday because no one's running anything around here on Saturday. There's gotta be a cash prize, so that'll put some skin in the game, especially for like higher rated players. They're gonna feel the need to show up for the cash money. Oh, Santosh has a good question. If there are 2 mate and 1 moves in a puzzle, is the 2 move are both moves considered correct? My experience is that lichess has repaired all the issues with multiple solutions, and they do both count. In fact, a bunch of times on stream, I've seen multiple solutions at once and just been like, okay, I'm not going to agonize over the difference. I think that, you know, they're going to be okay. Here's an interesting thing. And not so interesting. I was thinking of just take, like take and put the king here and then play e2. You know, maybe that's okay because they take and I get a queen. That could be fun. Could be interesting. Hello, FB3 with several eyes following on Twitch. How's it going? Yeah, let's go. I see you using my like old school cat emoji. That's cool. Somebody remembers. The cat emoji lives on. Okay, here's another way. I take this too, and then push e2. If they take the bishop, then I promote. If they let me, I'll promote to a queen and take their rook. And then we end up in this bishop endgame where I'm probably better. It's a little sus. I think there's probably a better way here. Let's say I take here. They don't actually have to take the rook either. They could play like king e2. So I think it's a lot more likely that the answer is simply to take this. Okay, that worked out well. Is this rage bait? I think I can just play bishop h3. That looks pretty good. Alright, bishop h3, king g1, queen e3, king h1, and then queen e1. That's what it is. And it was kind of critical to add this move in because if they don't go to the corner, it's not mate. Yeah, it doesn't really work if their bishop's not hanging either. Alright, let's trade down. Let's get our... Oh, okay. That's fine. I can just do this check and then take the pawn. Should be able to win. 2 connected passed pawns. Active king. Seems nice. Good stuff. Now if I go here, and they go here, am I winning? Yeah, we play f7. Let's not mess around. Hello, Melee, please. Welcome. How's it going? Melee, are you going to play any tournaments soon? What's going on? You playing chess anymore? Alright, so the answer is push. And push. And take. And we get a queen. We could throw this check, maybe, and then if they go in the corner, then we take this rook. Because there's a back rank mate. Alright, trying to be fast, trying to stay focused, not get distracted by any nonsense. Do this and that. Cool. Lotez is interesting. I think they're gonna lose a queen here. Let's get that queen. Be fast. What's the fast? Rook h6, king g8, queen d5, rook f7, queen a8. That's it. Bishop g6, king e7, and the win. Where's the win? Just take on g7. And I can take that for free, actually. It's mate. This is the only tricky thing. Bishop's pinned. Alright, that's check. I know what to do. Go Bills says you join chess clubs. Is that a question? Also, welcome to the stream on Twitch. I'm starting a chess club. I joined a chess club in the past. I'm happy to support. Also on Instagram, I'm promoting chess clubs worldwide. Some people from my team are trying to support everyone's clubs. If you want to talk about your chess club, yeah, I'll follow you back. Let me send you a Discord invite so we can chat about that. I'm happy to put your club. We have a map on our website of all the chess clubs that we are promoting, and we'd be happy to add your club to it and literally put you on the map. So just hit me up on Discord, and I'll make sure that we do it. Thank you for reaching out. Really happy to do that for you. Okay, so let's say I take this bishop because it's check, and they take. Just take on b2, win material. If they check here, I don't really care. That seems reasonable. I'm going to be up a lot of material. Instagram is Savvy Chess City. Yeah, Santosh got it. Queen takes b2. Okay, now if I throw this one down, what's it going to be? Push the pawn, they take it, try and go fast still. It doesn't really feel like the right way because after f6, king f7, it's kind of stuck. So, maybe just get behind this pawn and start pushing it. Like I go here, they can only prevent e7 by playing king e7, f6, king takes e7, and then I'm off to the races. I think that's the right answer. And this pawn endgame, I'm not really worried about it. Take, oh, arrow time, take, and then king g3. And they can't take either of these pawns. They have to just move their own pawns. Like they could play e3, I go there. They try to advance that one, I take, but I'm like really close. I can catch the other pawn. So we're going to the pawn endgame, king g3, king f3. Let's take that and come back. Their rook is trapped actually, so I go here. They can't protect with the pawn because our rook is helping. So they would try to go somewhere like here, but after king b2, they literally can't go anywhere. This is dead. So successful rook hunt. All right, check here. They go here. Nothing happens. Maybe we just take and take. And if they go here, we take, and then they take. All right, just gonna mull that over for a second. Look for any issues that could arise. Queen g6 is clearly wrong because the knight can take it. It's hard to do things well quickly, but I see I can take this and then do knight c7. That clearly wins a rook. We are down a minor piece, so that's probably okay. Melee says, not in much of a tournament mood, not even playing many online games, but want to play more. Really enjoy watching commentary of top tournaments this year. Which top tournaments have you enjoyed this year? I haven't really been keeping up, and I'd love to, stay up to date on the current issues. All right, so let's say I take, they take, and I just play e5. They have to go somewhere, but I think I'd be hard pressed to actually win this position. So how do I even do that? Let's say I take, and they go here. They come across, I come across. That would win. That would win. And I probably have to take it now, because if they push, I take, and then they play this, it's a draw. So I have to take here and push them away as much as possible. That position, the final position, is always winning, no matter whose move it is. So that's nice. We like nice stuff. If we do something silly with the queen here, we get checkmated. Our knight's hanging. Fast moves, fast moves. What are we gonna do? What's it gonna be? Trying to play fast, trying to get back to my 50-ish range. Rook d8. I'm always really slow to spot this, I've noticed, ever since I like came back from the dead. If I throw rook d1, they block with the rook. I take, they take. I take the bishop. That seems winning, right? Yeah. Yeah. Those rook things hitting the back rank, skewering the queen. For some reason, just a little bit slow for me. Need to try to do a little bit faster. Okay. Fast moves. What are we thinking? Zoe's drinking tea. I wish I was drinking tea. That sounds nice. Alright, so let's say I just do the obvious. Take, take, throw a check, they go here. It doesn't seem like anything's really happening. We are down a rook. And if we do anything really slow, we're just kind of keeping down a rook, and then they're gonna get this check and then this checkmate potentially. We don't want that to happen. So, excuse me. I was thinking bishop c8 for some reason, just instinctively. Excuse me. But like king f1, not sure it's really coming together. A kind of like secret sauce kind of move would be like this check, move the king away like anywhere, and then take here. That would be pretty cunning, but still down material. That's the thing that makes me worry. But with their queen so out of play, that's probably the answer. I'm gonna hazard it just for the sake of you know, trying to be bold and move quickly. And that paid off. That was good. All right, I've got this check. They can block in 2 different ways. Are they even worried? Okay, the reason I'm throwing this check is actually just to take their queen. I think that's the whole story here. Because if we take their bishop, we're just down a piece. So we're gonna do that and go for broke. Okay, they're threatening mate, so I have no time to take this knight. Queen e6 is the name of the game. If I play bishop e6, they'll just step to the side. So I kind of need to get rid of that queen. And then take the free knight. Okay. If I just take this and they push, I can hit it, because if they take, I back rank mate them. Yeah, the bishop catch and release, right? It's like a sport fishing for bishops or something, just like a weird little slingshot deal. I feel like a lot of chess things have funny names. They'll be like swallowtail mate, dovetail mate, and people who don't play chess are just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, it looks like a swallow, sure. And I think that's a totally legitimate stance. Like, people are always like, why is it called the dragon? And I'm like, some wild person thought that it looked like a constellation named after a dragon. And people are just like, not sure about constellations, 6 question marks. All right, now what I'm wondering here, yeah, exactly, Santosh. Why not rook b5 right away? If rook b5 right away, it's probably just winning. I don't see anything stopping them. Melee says hedgehog is funny. Yeah, hedgehog is like the most adorable name for a chess opening. You know, like, what do you play? Hedgehog. This little snuffly nocturnal mammal in the are they the, I don't think they're in the echidna family, but you know, they're echidna adjacent. They're totally weird little animals. All right, so let's say bishop g5, queen g6, knight d5. That looks pretty good. If they take, we take on e7. You know, cool. Am I missing something? I think that's it. Oh man, it was knight d5 first. So much for all the fast moves. So here, knight d5 is clearly a nice move. But like, what's wrong with this move? Oh, it's hanging. It's just freaking hanging. Mea culpa. It's okay. Try to go a little bit faster this time. Alright, I'm going to just lock in. Let's do this real quick. Are they choosing death before dishonor? Yeah, here we go. I'm getting that. So melee plays, when you say that hedgehog is funny, obviously the name, but do you think that the opening itself is funny too? It's one of the, like, it has such a charismatic name for a chess opening, but it doesn't seem like it's very often played. Alright, what was wrong with this? Real quick, what did I miss? Where is the bad ending? 96 is clearly there. But like, is that so bad? Hold on, what's the move here? Oh, it's queen h5 check. Yeah, totally missed that. Alright, fast, fast, fast. Work fast, people. We're thinking fast thoughts. Fast and accurate. The rook was pinned, but it turned out to be useful. Okay, do I even care that my queen's hanging? I feel like I should care, so that seems okay. Let's get 2 pieces for a queen. And I don't really mind taking that pawn. That seems fine to me. Let's get these guys out of the way. screen. Oh, check. Hello, Dino Nuggy Muncher. Do I have to say your name every time? What's going on? How's everything in the world? I'm trying to just go a little bit fast here, but also play accurately, of course. Oof, that was the wrong thing. Too slow. Doing good. Yeah, doing good. I'm also taking challenges if anybody wants to take a challenge. Just trying to push myself to like get these simple things done like very easily, like without misclicking and without like missing something, without getting distracted too easily. Because I think I could probably be better at the very fast time controls if I just like could relax a little bit without getting like without completely just like going not really focusing anymore. I think there's a good potential for that. I don't really miss like a lot of major ideas if I take my time. Which probably sounds like something that everyone would say, but sometimes like the longer I think, the more it just gets like confusing. I just want to channel that like good energy for calculation and stuff. All right, so I'm thinking just check here and then take the knight. We don't want to lose our piece. Dino Nuggy Muncher says, Ultra Bullet makes you second guess if you know what you're doing. I don't second guess too much when I see other people playing Ultra Bullet. It's just like, I see the worst games in those time controls. I'm just like, I know these guys can do better than this. This is just like some kind of craziness. I don't want to give it like too much seriousness, but in real games, like time scrambles occur, and in real games, distractions and like split second decisions that are really painful also occur. That's just not doesn't need to be the end of the game, and I think getting a little bit more acquainted with those situations is helpful. Melee says IDK almost anything about the hedgehog other than its use in must-wins with black, such as Caruana versus Magnus Game 3 Rapid World Championship match. He says, yeah, I don't know anything about the hedgehog except like this particular game in a particular World Championship match that happened in 2016. I remember it well. Put black bishops somewhere on the queenside, point to white's king. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that like the little hedgehog is like the must-win weapon. It's probably smart to play stuff like that if that's already like your natural inclination, or if you have to play low players a lot. And you know, the higher rated you get, the more you find yourself in like must-win situations, because you know even a draw against a low player will be like pretty bad for your rating, and a lot of people will play for a draw against you because you're high rated, which can be annoying if you're just like, I just want to try to win this tournament, you know. So that's like a real important factor of the game that I probably haven't thought about with enough seriousness in the past. I think it's, oh, Cheetah is sending a challenge, so let's jump on that. Melee says that Ultra Bullet is straying far from chess. 30 seconds is the fastest that he enjoys. That's an interesting take. So when you say strays far from chess, how far are we talking here? Like, oh, by the way, if anyone would like to request a first move, including Cheetah, my opponent, I'll happily play whatever first move people want. FB3 says I don't get a notification for new sub. Uh-oh. That's no good. Did you just subscribe for me? I really appreciate that if so. I need to figure out why it's not notifying me. It used to notify me. Something must be broken. Okay, earlier I got a d4 request, so I'm going to play d4 again for this game. Oh, h3. Hold on. Lotad had a request for h3. I'll play h3 next game. Lotad. Or I'll play h3 on this move. Here, little h3 right now. Well, FB3. I also want to invite you to my Discord. Um, happy to get in touch. I really appreciate it when people subscribe. I know that on Twitch, subscribes are a precious commodity. Okay, let's get the G4 in. It's like embarrassing that my subscribe notification didn't pop off. Let me see if I can find it now. Uh-oh. That was not the right move. Okay, so C5 is happening. What do I want to see in the world from C5? I'll just fill my G2 square and figure out the rest later. I think that's the right way. FB3 says, I haven't been able to sign into Discord in years. Oh, okay. Well, you know, you're probably not missing much. Oh, where am I supposed to see the subscribe notification? I'm like checking my stream. I don't even see it. I'm sorry for missing out on that. Where am I supposed to see it? I'm such a like Twitch amateur in this way. Okay, so knight c6 is happening. Very, very reasonable move. Very decent. Let's hit it with a knight f3. In fact, for the people on Twitch who are like subscribing and following things like that, I'm in the process of kind of like sprucing up my my web presence, and I hope that you'll bear with me. I do need to. Oh, okay, that's an interesting move. I do need to do a little spring cleaning on that, since like I didn't stream for like 3 years. So many dead links, so many like cringe artifacts, things like that. Let's try this one out. That looks fun. Melee also says that you're like not trying to make decent moves, and you rarely get 3 defined phases. Those are interesting observations about this very short time control. Interesting. Okay, so the bishop finally got out. That was all the purpose of that maneuvering. That makes sense to me. I think I'll try to keep ruining it. I think I'll just keep being a ruinous, miserly person that doesn't let people do what they want to do. So if someone subscribes to you on Twitch, where do you see that? Can you guys just remind me? Like, this is probably a good moment for me to get refamiliar. Things actually look a little bit different from last time I was even on Twitch. It's gotta be like alerts or something. I'm gonna look it up in another window. 1 second. FB3 said that there usually is an alert. You know, that was my expectation too. It used to be like that for me all the time. Alright, let me check in this other window. Okay, bishop h7. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, maybe, I don't know, I was thinking about playing g6. That might be kind of... Oh, notifications box. Apparently there's a notifications box. G6 would be like a cool way to ruin someone's day. You know what, I'm happy to do that. I think that's a good way to just sow the seeds of chaos blithely. I might even just like drop this bishop in here, like a very bad dog. Make it so that black cannot easily develop the pieces. USA Muslim, welcome. He said, my level in classical compared to rapid is way off. What areas should I focus on? 2000 plus rapid, but struggle to beat the 1700s in classical. That's an interesting imbalance. How are the games usually ending for you? I find it hard to imagine being so much worse off in a really long game without it being some kind of like psychological factor. Usually, like, if you have the chess skills to beat 2000 plus in rapid, you'll usually do pretty well in classical. And is this all online or like partly over the board? Let's see this. Melee says that he enjoys me playing games more than tactics. Well, that's high praise. Tactics are pretty great. Melee has the question for Muslim, is the rapid online and classical in real life? That's a good question. That's typically how the split goes. You know, online ratings, they're frequently higher. I don't know if that means that they're inflated, but it does, you know, they tend to be different. Okay, that is a prudent decision there to play e6. You should probably play a little bit faster just because it's such a short time control, but the plus 10 seconds is like pretty good. Okay, bishop's coming in. I'll get rid of it. Sounds good. Oh, but the knight would be protecting then. Okay, I see you. So I'm going to just protect that. I think this works for me. Finally getting that pawn back, and with a pretty good position, I would say. So usually I think it's like psychological factors that are super relevant at that in that kind of situation. Like if your classical is way lower than your rapid, it's very likely that it could be attributable to some kind of focus issues or just like a level of commitment to you know, maintaining a very high quality of moves. Like when like if your way of playing depends on them blundering because they don't have enough time to figure out the answer, that kind of advantage is gonna go away as the game gets longer. Cheetah, don't flag. Oh no, Cheetah flagged. I was gonna click the plus button, but I was too slow. All right, got a rematch offer. So for Cheetah, I think that things are mostly good. It's just that allowing the bishop to get shunted in there with the g6 was not very good. That was probably the major challenge. Okay, let's do this rematch. So there's d4, and we got a request for h6, was it before? So yeah, h3. So I'll do h6 in this game as well to honor the request. Okay, so they're both there. So I'm gonna do a6 as well. Okay, a4 is a pretty reasonable move to play. Let's play b6, don't mind me. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Let's see what we do with this. I had kind of the opposite problem from Islam at some point, where it's like I would play like pretty well with a lot of time, but then I would just flag like basically without any provocation in the short time controls. Chinggis Khan says bishop f7. Oh, the great Chinggis Khan. In the flesh, really. Chinggis Khan of the Shuangnu Confederacy is in the chat with us right now on Twitch. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to figure out where I can see my alerts. Where can I see those alerts? Yeah, white might go for this big sack, bishop f7, right? I think it kind of runs out, especially because I played bishop g7. Like knight e5 stuff always runs into bishop takes e5, but it could be worth, you know, maybe there's something there. This is kind of interesting. I'll try this first, just to get it started. So, unfortunately, no bishop f7 anymore. Pure coincidence, though. Okay, queen d2, going for some activity over there. I see you. You shall not pass, unfortunately. It's weird, I don't have a single notification About subscribes, I might have to report an issue. Okay, well, back to the task at hand. So now that e5 is played, I can get rid of this bishop, and I think that's pretty swell. I'm happy with that. Shingas is asking, what opening is this? This is just some weird stuff. Like, I started with h6, and then a6, and so you might call it like a crab or something, because it looks kind of crab-like. The eyes are way out on the outside. You know, if we're just sticking with the theme of being creative, animal naming chess players. Structurally, it's probably kind of similar to like the Larson or Owens type stuff, where you play b6 and bishop b7. Also a little bit like a modern because of the g pawn and bishop g7. But usually in the modern, the pawn stays on g6 and you don't play e6. So it's probably more similar to like a Larson opening. Alright, just finishing my development there. Nothing really crazy about knight c6. Alright, so that's an attacking move, if I ever saw one. I'll probably have to quash that rebellion with knight takes e3. I don't really want to see too much opening happening on that side of the board. Alright, knight d2, interesting. So going maybe for some kind of attack on the dark squares, that could be cool. Excuse me. Let's bully this bishop. Yeah, maybe hippo-like is another good way to put it. Another animal named opening. So yeah, only play openings named after animals. I think I heard a comment from like a decent player a little while ago where they said like if the opening is named after an animal, it's probably crap. Seems like fairly solid advice, frankly. Excuse me. Melee, so I miss our morning blitz games. Yeah, we used to play blitz in the morning. That was nice. Just sneaking it in before work. That was cool. You'll have to pick up and move to another state for that now. Black Lion, says Santosh. Yeah, the Black Lion moniker I feel like has only come up recently. It used to be just that all that was called Philidor. I don't really know when that happened. There was like a book written or something. I'm not like totally clear on it. White has pretty well placed pieces. No real like serious weaknesses to speak of. Definitely doing well. This is probably a little bit brash, but f3 is also maybe not the most logical move I've ever seen. I could probably live with the consequences here. Here's an interesting prospect. Let's say I just played d5. Unprovoked. What's gonna happen now? Right, g5, interesting. Just leaving the structure exactly the way it is. Don't mind if I just roll up then. Here we go. c5. Bringing in all the pieces. Alright, let's just try this out. Probably a little bit dramatic. Oh, okay, cool. I think I can probably shoot from the hip a little bit here. Tactics sure do work. I feel like that rook is trapped. Thanks for stopping in, Melee. See you next time. Okay, that works for me. Take this first, probably. Not sure how good that was. I'm cool with it though. Okay, looks like a good move. It's interesting because white has so many pawns left that there could be a lot of counterplay potentially. It's pretty good. Stream Elements just gave me a notification they cheered 100 bits. Thank you, FB3. FB3, are you on lichess? What's your username? Is this you? I don't remember who's who. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Are you on lichess? What's your username? I wanna get in touch with you somehow. I know Discord doesn't work. I don't have much else. Obviously, there's YouTube comment section. I'm always active in the comments there. Okay, my opponent is coming in hot with the pawns there. All right, so let's say I do this. They go there. I do this. Take. They go there. Take. Okay, that's not good. So I go here, okay, here, take that. Probably can't tolerate all that. Let's just take. Simple is good. Want chess, okay. Alright, let's put the kibosh on some of this counterplay. I've had enough of your antics, as they say. I'm going to go over here just on a hunch. I'm not sure that's the best way, but I like it. I did it my way. Okay, maybe just stop them from advancing that pawn. Bullying me. Okay. Obnoxious check. I'll just hang out where it's safe, you know, over here. This looks pretty good for me. B4 gave him a little lease on life, but hard to meet Rook B2. King a3 is forced. And maybe I'll take the rook. Alright, and good game. Yeah, interesting game. Yeah, what happened here at the end? Obviously, this was like a funny opening, right? H6 and A6, not very good. I like it when I can get all four. Sometimes that can be fun. Yeah, good games. This, white should be totally good here, but at some point you have to commit the structure and choose a plan. I think that's probably like the overall conceptual thing that went wrong went wrong for white. Because after he finished development, he started attacking the king side. This makes sense. But I thought maybe you would try like knight h2, try to like force me to play h5 and try to keep breaking this down. But after knight d2, it takes a really long time for you to get to f6, and then I just kind of snap it off anyway. It's a good plan. Like if you can make me get rid of my dark square bishop, maybe my king's weak. But I haven't committed castling or anything, so whenever you finally execute that plan, I'll probably just go castle the other way. Now, it took so long, you ended up moving your bishop back and everything. I was like, okay, I can try my own active play here. Queen e7 is probably slow too. I forget, there was something I thought you would play here. That was very reasonable. Or maybe I just, I considered how I was really passing up on bishop h6 because of this knight f6 idea. There's something here. But anyway, when I played d5, knight g5, I felt like everything was just totally good now because I can just go open up my side of the board and create problems for you. I don't even really worry so much about these pawns because they're going to be all doubled up and the e5 is weak. It's kind of like the ideal like French situation where the D and E pawns crumble and white has a lot of piece activity. So I was happy with my position here. And this rook trap was helpful. I know that like sometimes you get a lot of activity due to time pressure in these kinds of imbalanced positions where people like don't really know how to deal with the pawns that are just like all over the place. But we had a few minutes each here, and this is like not so hard to figure out. I think probably bishop c3 was a little premature, but I didn't want the knight to come back to b5. I thought that would probably be more annoying, so I may as well just play this like opposite bishop situation. But I like my position. It's kind of hard for you to push through and win, but e5, e4, d4, these things are all coming pretty reliably for me. Maybe if you could trade like the rook and the knight. Well, I'm up in exchange too. That's hard. Usually if the material's kind of balanced, you can just go for like the opposite color bishop endgame and get some drawing chances, but once you're down material like this, it's not really going to work. Just seeking counterplay. Okay, but yeah, good games. I'm over schedule. I probably need to cut out now. But for everyone who's on Twitch, we should do a raid, and I need to figure out what's going on with my overlay that's not telling me about subscribes, because that's important information. So I really appreciate all of your support. Let's pivot and do the a pawn is hanging in the ending. Hold on, one quick question. Santra said the a pawn's hanging in the end. Which one's hanging? I didn't notice this hanging pawn because I was going for the mate pretty much. Yeah, I didn't notice the hanging pawn really. Here I'm threatening mate, bishop c1, so he kind of had to throw this move in. And maybe king b3 or something would have been more resilient. Or maybe just like c4. Oh, e-pawn. E-pawn's hanging, he says. Mine's pretty well protected. It could have been hanging at some point. I didn't really see it. Well, anyway, let's wrap up and go raid somebody. Let's see who's on Twitch that we can raid. Okay, raid button. Who are we gonna raid? We got Rav Master. Excuse me. We got Chess till 500. Let's see, who else are we? Who are we thinking about here? Okay, this guy. We got a high effort optimist. You know what, let's hit up. This guy's playing viewers and studying for exams. Let's hit him up. Let's give him the good energy for exams time. It's very important. Alright, we'll do the raid, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for tuning in. Alright, everybody on Twitch, prepare for raiding. Raid is inbound. Alright, let's go.